Welcome to the next episode of the CAPB podcast. I am delighted to welcome Sean Taylor from Zip World UK. Sean served for 20 years in the Royal Marines, leaving in 2004, and has created an incredible business and brand in Zip World. So welcome to the CAPB podcast, Sean.
Thank you very much. So, I'm Sean Taylor, P043485 Alpha. Still remember it. Just rolls off my tongue.
You never forget that. You never forget numbers like that.
No.
But Sean, Matt was saying that you've served 20 years in the Marines. Are you able to give us a couple of highlights of your career, like great things, good things, worst things, bad things, just an overview of your career?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Conway Valley and probably not the most gifted person in school. So got thrown out, gang of us got thrown after the first year in sixth form. And all the lads joined the usual Navy, RAF, Army. And I went into my father's lumberjack business. And amazing job, brutally hard. So I actually escaped lumberjacking for an easier life to join the Corps. So I joined in 2004, and obviously the highlight was getting my green beret. And I know it's a cliche, but it does actually make you for the rest of your life. I've still got great mates. We've gone through training and then different commando units. So yeah, passing out in 1985. In fact, I've got we've got a reunion coming up in. I've got 30 lads coming up in February. To one of my sites, and we're staying in a hotel I've just bought. So it's basically passing out, get my green beret, and then going at 4-5 commando, which was then it was the reprobate commando. Everyone grew their hair. No hierarchy ever used to go there. It's up in Scotland, and went and specialised in skiing. So become a ski instructor in between that Northern Ireland. And then after that, I actually went on an combat display team. From that, I went on to 5 years, probably one of the best jobs you'll ever get is on the parachute display team. Went around the world, done about 2,500 skydives, worked in Hong Kong, jumped in the Philippines, America. And then after that, rejoined then 40 Commando, where I actually then specialised in jungle warfare, become a jungle warfare tracking instructor. And then just carried on, and I left then in 2004 on a Thursday from Lympstone, and I ended up in Kabul in Afghanistan, close protection. So I've skirted 20 years in the Corps, but I could talk to you all day about dates and what got up to. Like I said, I then went on close protection, Iraq, Afghanistan, maritime stuff, Hollywood stuff. I know you're going to ask me who, but lots of different people, Pamela Anderson, people like that. By this time, 26 years had passed by, been out of, been away, lived down in Poole, lived in Devon, spent a lot of time in America, Far East, Hong Kong for 18 months. Kind of wanted to come home. But as a lot of Marines, probably guys in the Army as well, you don't plan. And that's why I went on close protection. Did close protection for 3-4 years, and I set up Treetop Adventure, which was the early stages of Zip World in 2007.
Sean, with your, I mean, first of all, that's a pretty credible career, you know, and there's a theme, and the theme is, for me, that I'm picking up is there's a lot of outdoor activities, there's a lot of non-curricular stuff, you know, skiing, skydiving, all the outdoor stuff. You've then left, and what was you mentioned there that you set up Treetop Adventures. What was the reason you thought, I've done close protection, I was a Royal Marine, I've done close protection, I'm going to go and make a theme park in the trees?
Yeah, first of all, insecurity, there is no security, as insecurity of the job. So, I was really lucky, picked up some good jobs, made some money, but there was always an end goal. And a lot of guys I knew, a couple of guys in the Corps got killed. Risk was always going up. Money was coming down. Thought, right, time to change career. Bit of self-preservation, really. So I came back, and I just felt I wanted to do something. and I thought there was a gap in the market because historically, when I grew up in Snowdonia, bear in mind our family farm is underneath Tryfan in the Ogwen Valley. To do something, you either had to be qualified skill based, you needed a rope, or if you canoe, you need to have your own canoe. So I wanted to kind of open up adventure to the masses, which we've done. I mean, we've got 1 million visitors a year now. So I started back in 2007 called Tree Top Adventure, which is between Llanrwst and Betsacoed. Had a shipping container, a Marines recruiting van, and a chemical toilet. And I remember we opened in April, and by the end of May, the chemical toilet was smelly. And that was the smell of success, because I knew we'd had a lot of people using it. So that was my measure of the smell test. Started with 4 members of staff. Today we've got 960, I think it is, the high water mark. That's sites in Manchester, Lake District, South Wales, and obviously we're opening quite a few next year as well. London, hopefully a big city in the north, zip line right over there, Devon. So yeah, so set it up, and I pinch myself, but people say to me, "You must be proud of what you've done." I'm not actually, and I don't mean that being big-headedly. I haven't finished, so time for that is in my rocking chair with a cigar, with my grandchildren. I've still got lots of things I want to do, and that's what gets me up every morning, because it's such an amazing. I'm in a privileged position where it's like a Bond villain. I've got my dog, and I live in an old schoolhouse, and I've got the luxury of being able to think what product I'm going to do next. We're a successful business, profitable, so we do have that money to reinvest. For example, we've got a new product coming up, hopefully next year. It's the biggest. I'm allowed to swear, hopefully, the biggest fuck off swing in the world. It's 10 people, 94 meters going over the lake. It's going to be absolutely exhilarating, but terrifying at the same time.
Sean,
so things like that, that's what gets me out of bed.
Here's a question for you, Sean. It fascinates me, right? Is where do you come up with the ideas for some of these things? Like the zip line, man. Now, I've been up there, right? And we've done the carts and we've done all that. And the zip line is like, where did you come up with the idea for something
so that was
so crazy?
I'd come back and I was all running Tree Top Adventure, and I got involved with my local rugby club, which is a mile and a half from where I was born in Trevu, Nant Conway Rugby Club. It is the most successful rugby club over the last 20 years in North Wales. Completely amateur, just run by a load of mad farmers who just smash people. Not the biggest in the world, but they just go around smashing people, and we're unbeaten now in the league for about 2.5 years. So I was in Bethesda, it was a cup game, I remember. And as usual, we smashed Bethesda. And I looked up, and what's that? That's Penrhyn Quarry. And someone said to me, that'd be an amazing place for a zip line. And it kind of stuck in my head. So the following Monday morning, I went in to see the managing director in Welsh Slate. I said, listen, I've got an idea. And he didn't kick me out of the office. He laughed and said, well, what a ridiculous idea. But come back if you get anywhere with the planners. And I did. And, pioneering, the rest is history. So, yeah, so as the ideas, I have ideas, but, Andrew Hudson is my CEO. He said, listen, what about doing underground golf? And I went, what? And it's all about the brand. Will it reflect the brand? I says, what a waste of a good walk is golf. So why would we want to do golf? And anyway, it's been massively successful purely because it's 500 feet underground. And it's all weather. As you know, it rains every now and again in Blind for Stiniog. In fact, it rains all the time in Blind for Stiniog.
Every other day.
Yeah. Lucky I don't have any hair to get my fringe wet. So, so the idea is we've just come back from, I took eight of us went over to Amsterdam last week. A place called IAPA, which is all the new products come out. And we kind of see a new product to say that would fit there. So, we've got new sites coming on, we've got existing sites, and we're buying businesses where we think we can do a little bit better.
So what sort of key things do you think have led to this succession, and do you attribute it to your military career at all?
Yeah, first of all, I'll touch on that. It's resilience. It's getting even harder now. The barriers to be running a successful business could be employment law, Planning, definitely. That's the hardest thing to achieve growth, is getting over the planning system in the UK. The cost of things, so you've got to be resilient. You get a lot of red tape, and you've got to throw a bit of smoke, go from the side. Sometimes you go straight up and confront it. So you've got to be massively resilient. And the other thing I think I've been successful is judgment. And one of the things I always say to my team is judgment is one of the most important traits you'll get, because judgment, you invariably, with knowledge, your instinct, you'll make the right decision. Whether you fucked up and you've got the honesty and the integrity to stick your hand up and say, listen, I've messed up, which is massive in my book. It's part of one of the commando spirit. And with that, surrounding myself with people who can do the job better than me. So that could, when I first started, I did the marketing right at the early beginning. It scares me now. I was doing the finance, I was paying invoices, and invoices all over my car. Now I've got a team of 6, a highly motivated professional team, which is my finance team. I've got a marketing team who are amazing, using new technology. I've even got a media scientist, so he looks at trends. Then I've got an IT team. I've got a construction team. I've got obviously operations team, maintenance teams. So everything's under one umbrella, which really makes us a little bit different to nearly every company in the world, where landowners will come to us have complete confidence in what we do, because we don't just construct. We can maintain, we inspect, we operate. Data scientists, that's what I was looking at. I've got a data scientist. So if you said to me 2 years ago, you're going to have a data scientist, I'd have gone, what the fuck does that do? Yeah. What does he do? And he is amazing, because he looks at trends. He looks at where our customers come from, how old they are, behaviors, which means then we can market, we can change sites, what new sites we do and what products we put on there. So it's really clever stuff.
It's using data, isn't it? Using data to feed growth. One of the things I'll pick up on is what you said there. It reminded me of like a quote, which is, you don't surround yourself with experts and then tell them how to do their job. And you've as your business has grown, you've surrounded yourself with people who have clearly got the brief. Because even on Instagram, you're at nearly 250,000 followers. And as you said there, you've gone from 4 staff to 960 staff. And I think that's an incredible feat in such a short period. The one thing I'll say is, you talk about judgment being a key tenet to the success of the business. Would you pair that with risk?
Yeah, it's calculated risk. The products are perceived risk. You're doing 100. Good mate of mine, Scott Cornell, 118 miles per hour down a zip line. Yeah, it's about perceived risk, because it's actually very, very safe. Probably in a risk category or a risk measurement, going up in the 4-tonner trucks is probably more dangerous than going down that zip line, because we put such a lot of checks and controls. So it's so inherently dangerous, because a mistake, you're going to kill someone.
Yeah. Where I was going with risk was, the safety part. As I say, I've been to most of the sites, certainly all the sites in North Wales. The safety is literally on point. It is super safe. It's the quarry and the zip line. Is there a risk in, if this doesn't work, if this isn't successful, or is it the judgment thinking, I know that this will work?
It's having that judgment. Obviously, it is a bit of risk, and it's risk and reward. If you don't have any risk, there's no reward. We're looking at potentially buying a business. I can't say too much, but they don't make any money because they don't take any financial risk. So there is, but it's that instinct, that's that gut to work back what the customer wants. And it comes back to the brand. The brand is everything. The brand is the mothership. You've got to protect the brand. Now, we'd probably be seen as, and I always say, Sitwell's like the swan. It's on top of the water, graceful, we're successful. You don't realise how we're kicking like fuck under that water. Cost of living crisis. It's been a tough year. So we got to keep. We've got a lot of mouths to feed. I think it's 10.5 million our wage bill every year, million that is. And so we've got to be successful. But we thrive in it. We thrive in it. It's in our DNA to be different. and I'd like to think we have our customers keep on coming back, and it is it's a bit like a family, it's like a Zitwell family, because I think people do know we reinvest for the new product, the new site, and we've got some amazing new products and new sites coming next year.
You talk about resiliency, right? And resiliency, I find, is massive with any military person. We all have a built-in resiliency just to get on, and when the shit happens, we're very pragmatic and reactive in whatever we need to do. You say about resiliency. I'm just trying to think of a time and liken it to what the business is. So, COVID, how did the business survive during that? Bearing it was especially in Wales, we weren't even allowed to fart without getting permission.
Yeah.
It was like, how did that work, and how did you find that your team, the wider team, dealt with that?
Great question. So the week before furlough came in, we sat down and we said, right, we've got X months of cash, we can survive. Someone said, well, we need to make severe redundancies. And I went, fuck. And I remember my dog Basil, who got run over during COVID. We went for a walk, 2-minute walk, cleared my head, come back, said, guys, we're not making anyone redundant. Because if we do, we're going to lose all the skill within Zitwell. Yeah. I won't embarrass, there's 5-6 people. If we lost them then, that was it. Yeah. We'd have to start all over again. So what's the point? We might as well keep these. And then furlough came the week after. Big relief. Sounds cringing, but we had a good COVID. We managed our costs. So Andrew Hudson's my CEO. We had a board meeting, and it's all doom and gloom. And says, right, guys, got a proposal. And apologies, Sean, I haven't mentioned it because you'd fall off your chair if you hear what I'm going to say. I want to double the marketing budget. I want to double it. I went, what the fuck? Andrew, we don't know what's happening in the future. I said, listen, when we come out of COVID, we'll be ahead of everyone because we can buy Facebook ads for a fraction of the cost. And really, that's what accelerated the business. And it's crazy, but it was marketing led, which means we then we were ahead of Chester Zoo. We're ahead of the National Trust. Really, it was ballsy what we did, but it means we came out of COVID in a really strong position. And that's when I say early on, surround yourself with people who are better than you and trust them. So it's like, you've got mission command in the military. It's basically give people a task, give them the assets, give them the time, expect there's going to be some fuck-ups, but trust them. And this is how we try and operate. So which means that you're not micromanaging. Now, if some of my staff go, fucking hell, that's good coming from Sean, micromanaging. I only micromanage people who have got a history of failure or not getting things right. I've got departments like marketing, finance, the Adventure Booking Centre. They're always on top of their game. So it's a brilliant position to be where you trust them, you trust their judgment, and it's a great place to be. It de-stresses you.
Sean, with regards to you need to take some credit yourself here. I know you're surrounded with great people, but there is a level of leadership required to say, I am not making anyone redundant. And if the ship goes down, we all go down. And I think that's massively commendable, mate. And there isn't many people who would have done that, is the first thing. And second thing is about motivating people, right? I've got a passion for leadership. I've got a passion for motivating people. And there's a thing they talk about, which is autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And for people to be motivated, they need autonomy to do the job. They need the skill set, the mastery to do it, and they need a purpose. And everything you spoke about for the last 25, 30 minutes screams that. You've got a brand. There is a purpose. You want to be the biggest, brand in the UK for this.
I mean, thanks for that. But it's, to be fair, Zitwell and what we do does most of the job for us. People are motivated because, this is exciting. 99% of the people who come are great. They're customers. They come in. It's life-changing with some of them. So our team then feed off them. We do a lot with blind vets and veterans, disabled people. And the buzz our team get for seeing for that 60 seconds, 65 seconds, that disabled person's on the wire, having the same experience as an able-bodied person, it's hugely powerful for our team. So the brand does a lot of it. But also, I've got great managers, great middle managers, senior managers, and also it helps. So a new T-shirt is coming out. It'll be out next month, and it says on the back, if the morale doesn't improve, the beatings will continue. Joking. So that is from Moby Dick, Captain Ahab. I say that jokingly, but yeah, the team is very easy to motivate, really are, because they're in a cool job. Now, I think the success is when you see young lads going out in Bethesda with their Zip World tops on, purely because they want to pull. They want to pull the chicks that have been on either in Penrhyn Quarry or Bethesda Bliner, and that's a testament to the brand. So, yeah.
I mean,
is that a new line then? A Zip World dating agency? Are we going down that line?
Hey, tree dating. You heard it first here. We're going to do tree dating soon. Yeah.
I want to. We're coming up to the the wrap up for the podcast now. So this is where we get a chance to, where you get a chance to explain like Zip World. What is the mission of Zip World ultimately? What is the end goal?
I want the customer, whether it's family, corporate, to come back and say they've had an amazing time, a world-class experience in an iconic setting. Yeah, and the brand does that, which people will come back then and feel they've had value for money and had a good time. We're very uncorporate. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We like to have a laugh. Every instructor I've got has their own personality, and they'll do it brief differently as long as they get the message across for safety and what to do to enhance their day. I don't care how they get across. So it means everything's different. Each site's different. I've got Bethesda, which we call, because it's the fastest zip line in the world and it's got nice shiny building, that's made in Chelsea. I've got Zipwell Bethesda, which is a load of kids running around. That's Tiswas. Yeah. I've got Bliner, which is the League of Gentlemen,
Royston Vasey.
That's the one, yeah. Royston
Wow.
Vasey. That's Royston Vasey.
Wow.
The Welsh Royston Vasey. Stroke a bit of Mordor.
Yeah.
Tower Colliery, South Wales. Who knows? Because we can't understand them. They're down in the valleys down there. We got Manchester, who've got their own challenges there, and then we've got the Lake District, who obviously put themselves on the pedestal because it is the Lake District and they charge a lot of money up there. So yeah, it's good fun, and for me, as long as you can come to work and have a good time and enjoy it, it means it'll reflect on the customer, and the customer is king, always is. We work back for what the customer wants.
That's brilliant, Sean.
Just as another point, it is really, really, really like humbling to have this conversation with you, mate, because you're from North Wales. Usually the best thing that comes out of North Wales is the A55, and we grew up there. We went to school there, and for someone from North Wales to be so successful, Sean, after a great 20-year career in the Marines, and to bring, mate, I can't get my head over 4 staff to just short of 1,000 staff in an area of the world where I grew up. Paul lives now where we grew up, where employment has always been difficult. It's always been, low. It's always been, and for you to do that, mate, it's just phenomenal, Sean. Mate.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal.
I think the last thing I said, and I suppose I didn't mention it. So, 2018, I wanted to know what I created in the community. So we conducted it's a bit of a mouthful, an independent economic impact assessment, which came to in 2018, which was 252 million, which has gone to your petrol station, your restaurant, your shops, not coming directly to us. So we just conducted another one 4 months ago. Bit disappointing. We came in just below $1 billion. It was 960 million. So that makes me proud, that because it means that people, whether it's they've got B&B, a shop, it could be our ice cream supplier, it could be our fabricator, our planning consultant, our solicitor, the local. We try and use locals when we can to keep it in that circular local economy. So that does make me proud. And I do have a pint every now and again. I do have a pint on a Friday £2.60 a pint in the new inn in Llanrwst. So I go back. We don't take each other seriously. So all my farmer mates, ropey mates, we just go around taking the piss out of each other for about 2 hours, drinking cheap beer, which is great, which is what it's all about.
You literally can't get a can of Fanta down here for £2.60.
Yeah, no. And it's cheaper. If you go to the club next door, I think Carlin's £2.20.
I want to take the opportunity to thank you very much for coming on today's podcast. The insights and from where you started to where you are now, and not only that, where the business is going to go in the future, it's just amazing. And I go past the site near every single day. I have friends, very good friends that work there, and yeah, it's great to have you on. So on behalf of me, Matt, and the team, thanks very much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much for your time, guys. And I still don't mind if the sites are smelly, which means a lot of people have been there.
Sean, thank you so much. You're an absolute saint, mate. Thank you so much.
Thanks. All the best, guys.